Super Wildcard Weekend just concluded with a matchup featuring the Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals, and let's just say the Arizona Cardinals are frauds. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another NFL video, and in today's video I'm coming on here to talk about the Los Angeles Rams absolutely destroying the Arizona Cardinals. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL. Let's get straight into today's video.
Like a crossface, it's a dark place I roam. Ain't no right way, just the wrong way, I know. I problem solve with styrofoam. My world revolves around a black hole. The same black.
So it is currently 11:37 p.m. right now, and we just finished watching the Arizona Cardinals lay an absolute egg on Monday Night Football as they lost to the LA Rams 34-11 and got eliminated from the playoffs. So the Arizona Cardinals got the ball first to set the tone, and immediately you could tell that they weren't ready for this stage as they went 3-and-out. The whole offense just looked out of sorts, and you gotta start pointing the fingers at the head coach. Kliff Kingsbury was out-coached by Sean McVay tonight, and you could clearly see that. But we saw this foreshadowing from the Arizona Cardinals, so this shouldn't be no surprise to anyone that they folded like this in the NFL playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals were the last unbeaten team this past season as they got out to a 7-0 start and were looking like Super Bowl frontrunners at one point. But they eventually suffered their first loss of the season at the hands of the Green Bay Packers, and you could easily make a case that they very well could have won that game if AJ Green knew the play call. Nevertheless, they bounced back the following week and beat the San Francisco 49ers, but then this is where I feel like their season took a total turn for the worse as they got destroyed by the Carolina Panthers 34-10, and yes, it was the game where Cam Newton said this. After starting the season 7-0 and being the last unbeaten team, you would have thought the Arizona Cardinals would have went on to be a 13-14 win team this season, but they went on to only win 4 more games and finish the season 11-6 and ultimately lose the NFC West title to the Los Angeles Rams. So where do you put the blame at the most? The players on the field, Kyler Murray dealing with injuries, or do you look at your coaching staff? I'm looking directly at Kliff Kingsbury on this one because you are responsible as a head coach to have your team prepared each and every week, and after they started off hot, they were just never the same team. And yes, I get it, the Arizona Cardinals did get banged up a lot this season, but everyone had injuries. There is not a single playoff team that isn't dealing with injuries right now, so I personally don't think you can use that as an excuse. And yes, I understand they didn't have their best offensive weapon tonight in DeAndre Hopkins, but that's why I'm putting it on their head coach and play caller Kliff Kingsbury, because knowing that you don't have your best offensive weapon, that's where you have to get everyone involved. That's where you have to come up with your best game plan, and he simply didn't do that tonight. But hey man, you have to give credit to the Los Angeles Rams. Raheem Morris put together an excellent game plan to stop the Arizona Cardinals offensive attack. But flipping sides back to Kliff Kingsbury, tonight I was waiting for him to get his other weapons involved. Rondale Moore, where was he tonight? Christian Kirk, James Conner, Zach Ertz, why didn't you draw better plays to get Kyler Murray out the pocket using his legs? And again, Kyler Murray was under duress tonight, and even when he had a clean pocket, it just looked like he was overwhelmed. It looked like the moment was too big for him. He wasn't making good throws, and again, you have to credit this Rams defense. That vaunted pass rush led by Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd was just all over Kyler Murray tonight. It even set up the pick that David Long had for 6-2. So again, a shout out to Raheem Morris and that D-line for having an excellent game plan. Now you flip sides to this Los Angeles Rams offense. Shout out to their general manager Les Snead, because this guy made an excellent move this offseason to bring in quarterback Matthew Stafford, and he is making a change to this team. Now I'm not gonna lie, coming into this game I was a little worried about Matthew Stafford, not just because of the injury he sustained, but also because of the lack of playoff experience this man has. In his long career, he only made it to the playoffs 3 times, and that's because he's been in Detroit all of his career, so I didn't know if the moment was gonna be too big for him him or not? Obviously not, because he threw for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. It looked like he belonged here. He looked composed. He was hitting his open targets. He was finding his guys, and it was really fun to watch. But it didn't stop there. Les Snead also brought over Odell and Von Miller, and boy did they make an impact tonight. Von Miller had a sack. Odell had 54 receiving yards, but don't let the numbers fool you. He was heavily involved in this offensive game plan tonight, as he had a touchdown. He could have had another one, but he came up a yard short, and he also threw for 40 yards. This gave me 2016 Odell Giants vibes tonight, as he was looking really sharp, and I'm happy for Odell Beckham because his time in Cleveland was wasted, and I'm glad to see that he found a new home in LA. Sean McVay had an excellent game plan tonight, and it was simple: stay balanced. As you would look on the stat sheet, that no one really had a big day, but everyone contributed, from the running backs to the receivers to the tight ends. Everyone had a role in tonight's win versus the Cardinals. And just to let you know, Cooper Kupp had 1 reception deep into the second half, and he finished as their leading receiver tonight, as he's continuing his historical season by racking up 5 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham came in with 4 receptions and 54 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Higbee 3 receptions, 46 yards. Van Jefferson 1 reception, 41, and Cam Akers 1 reception, 40. Their rushing attack was really good tonight too, as Sony Michel had 13 carries for 58 yards, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. Cam Akers 17 carries for 55 yards, averaging about 3.2 yards a carry, and even Matthew Stafford having 6 carries for 22. So you see, no one really had a huge day. Everyone contributed, and I think that was Sean McVay's game plan going in here, was to stay balanced. Let's pass, let's run, and keep them on their heels, and they did an excellent job at that because they didn't know what was coming. The Los Angeles Rams get 1 step closer to their dream of making it back to the Super Bowl, but first they have to go to Tampa Bay to face the man that beat them in the Super Bowl a few years ago, Tom Brady. And I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this may be the perfect matchup for the Rams, because if they can get after Brady, create some pressure early, they can rattle his cage and he can be affected all night long. As we seen in that Eagles game, Brady was off the mark, so right now he isn't looking the best. I mean, he's still finding ways to win and win convincingly, but Brady isn't the sharpest right now, and he could run into the Rams at the wrong time. But back to the Arizona Cardinals, I want to talk about Kliff Kingsbury. He just wrapped up his 3rd season as a Cardinals head coach, and if you ask me, this experiment has been a failure for them. Kliff Kingsbury was hired in early 2019, and after moving on from Josh Rosen, he selected his guy Kyler Murray in the 1st round with the 1st overall pick of the 2019 draft, and these guys were supposed to be the next duo of the future. Now, Kliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray's tenure got off to a rough start, as in 2019 they finished the season 5-10, and you can cut them some slack. You can say, oh, 1st year head coach, 1st year quarterback. You can understand the growing pains with this relationship as they're trying to build some success in Arizona. Kyler Murray's coming off of Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. Even though the Cardinals did suck as a team overall, he had a pretty good season. In that 2020 offseason, the Arizona Cardinals made a move to trade for wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins from the Houston Texans, and that basically confirmed that they're in win-now mode, even with the 2nd-year quarterback in Kyler Murray. In 2020, the Arizona Cardinals finished 8-8, mediocre, middle of the pack, and not good at all, especially with the talent that they have on that team. And with Kyler Murray winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and with bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of people thought this team was going to make a run at the Lombardi in 2020, and they obviously didn't do that, finishing 8-8. Now, going into Kliff Kingsbury's 3rd year as head coach, he made it clear again that they are in win-now mode, with moves like getting JJ Watt to Arizona, bringing in AJ Green, bringing in Zach Ertz. He is solidifying this roster to make a run at a Super Bowl. And early in the 2021 season, it looked like it was finally coming along for Kliff Kingsbury, as they got off to a 7-0 start, and it was the last unbeaten team this past season. But then they hit a slump, and they finished the season 11-6. And if I was a Cardinals fan, I would be getting tired of this, man. Like, we have all this talent just to be slumping and finishing the season 11-6 and getting wild cards after it was looking like they were on the verge of getting a 1st round bye at one point. So if I'm Cardinals GM Steve Keim this offseason, I'm at least considering moving on from Kliff Kingsbury because he's shown in his 3 years that he can't win anything significant. So if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm at least exploring my options and seeing what's out there. Brian Dable from the Bills, Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs, Brian Flores, Dan Quinn from the Cowboys would all be good options for the Cardinals. I just think Kliff Kingsbury isn't a good leader of men, and the longer they keep on to him, the longer they are going to be mediocre. So yeah, man, let me know how you guys are feeling about this video down below in the comments section. Rams fans, let me know how hyped you guys are about this win, and Cardinals fans, let me know if you guys want to move on from Kliff Kingsbury. If so, who do you think would be a good fit for you guys moving forward? As always, it's me, boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.